Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sector Talks. I'm Leona Alfaro, your host, and joining me right now is Tamar Essner, who is Senior Director of Energy here at Nasdaq's Corporate Solutions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So start by telling us a little bit more about where is the market today following last year's sell-off.
So we had a hefty sell-off mainly in the fourth quarter of last year. This year we're up substantially relative to those levels, but we're still off the highs. So we peaked a few weeks ago. I think that this has surprised some people because in that time period, the U.S. administration has tightened the screws on Iran. So we have gone to eliminating the export waiver so that effectively no country can legally import oil from Iran right now. And we're also going into a seasonally strong time of year in the summertime where there's more use of oil for driving purposes. So we're off the highs of the year, but it's probable that we could strengthen a little bit towards the summertime.
And what are some emerging market concerns that we're looking at here?
Well, I think that's probably the biggest reason why we're off the highs is that the broader markets are concerned about demand. A big part of that is because of the trade war, but particularly what we're seeing is signs of softening in some of the EM countries, particularly in Latin America. And because of that, that's stoked concerns about demand because emerging market economies are our biggest sources of oil demand growth. And so if those countries are stalling a little bit, then there's less demand for oil. So that would put pressure on prices, which is what we're seeing now.
And we have the OPEC meeting coming up in the month. So how does that come into play?
The OPEC will meet this weekend. It's a technical meeting, but it will set the stage for their meeting in June. The meeting in June is obviously more important because it will be at that point that they will decide whether or not they want to extend the current output cut through the end of the year. Right now, the agreement only holds until the end of June. So if you're a bull in the market, you want OPEC to continue with their production cuts. And if you're a bear, then you probably think that they will not be able to come to agreement. We know Saudi Arabia certainly wants them to continue with the production cuts, but Russia is a bit more reluctant on that front. So it's a question of really whether Saudi can herd the cats with the other countries and get them to go on board through the end of the year. And we'll know that for certain at the end of June.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
Well, Tamar, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight here on Sector Talks.
Thank you.
Nasdaq followers, please stay tuned for more coverage coming to you right here from the Trade Talks account.